Some of us think holding on makes us strong, but sometimes it is letting go. If you hate a person, you hate something in him. That is part of yourself. What isn't part of ourselves doesn't disturb us. The bird fights its way out of the egg. The egg is the world. Who would be born must destroy a world. The only way to deal with the future is to function efficiently in the now. Words do not express thoughts very well. They always become a little different immediately after they are expressed, a little distorted, a little foolish. Whoever wants music instead of noise, joy instead of pleasure, soul instead of gold, creative work instead of business, passion instead of foolery, finds no home in this trivial world of ours. There is a miracle in every new beginning. Within you there is a stillness and sanctuary to which you can retreat at any time and be yourself. The true profession of a man is to find his way to himself. You have to try the impossible to achieve the possible. Love your suffering, do not resist it, do not flee from it. It is only your aversion to it that hurts, nothing else. I have always believed, and I still believe, that whatever good or bad fortune may come our way, we can always give it meaning and transform it into something of value. If I know what love is, it is because of you. Learn what is to be taken seriously and laugh at the rest. The bird fights its way out of the egg. The egg is the world. Who would be born must first destroy a world. The bird flies to God. That God's name is Abraxas. There is no reality except the one contained within us. Without words, without writing, and without books, there would be no history. There could be no concept of humanity. Youth ends when egotism does. Maturity begins when one lives for others. You are only afraid if you are not in harmony with yourself. To achieve the possible, we must attempt the impossible again and again. Your soul is the whole world. Because the world is so full of death and horror, I try again and again to console my heart and pick the flowers that grow in the midst of hell. As a body, everyone is single, as a soul, never. There's no reality except the one contained within us. That's why so many people live an unreal life. They take images outside them for reality and never allow the world within them to assert itself. Making music together is the best way for the people to become friends. I live in my dreams. That's what you sense. Other people live in dreams, but not in their own. That's the difference. He had loved and he had found himself. Most people love to lose themselves. Solitude is independence. It had been my wish, and with the years I had attained it. It was cold, oh cold enough, but it was also still, wonderfully still and vast, like the cold stillness of space in which the stars revolve. Happiness is love, nothing else. How could I fail to be a lone wolf and an uncouth hermit, as I did not share one of its aims nor understand one of its pleasures? Words cannot express the joy of new life. Everyone can perform magic. Everyone can reach his goals if he is able to think, if he is able to wait, if he is able to fizz. Knowledge can be communicated but not wisdom one can find it, live it, be fortified. By it do wonders through it, but one cannot communicate and teach it. The river taught us how to listen with a silent heart, with a waiting open soul. Each man's life represents a road toward himself. The deity is within you, not in ideas and books. Truth is lived, not taught. A house without books is a poor house, even if beautiful rugs are covering its floors and precious wallpapers and pictures cover its walls. Oh, love isn't there to make us happy, I believe it exists to show us how much we can endure. Loneliness is the way by which destiny endeavors to lead man to himself. To be able to throw one's self away for the sake of a moment, to be able to sacrifice yours for a woman's smile, that is happiness. My real self wanders elsewhere, far away, wanders on invisibly, and has nothing to do with my life. Solitude is independence. People with courage and character always seem sinister to the rest. A longing to wander tears my heart when I hear trees rustling in the wind at evening. The best weapons against the infamies of life are courage, willfulness, and patience. Courage strengthens, willfulness is fun, and patience provides tranquility. Faith and doubt go hand in hand. They are complementaries. One who never doubts will never truly believe. If time is not real, then the dividing line between this world and eternity, between suffering and bliss, between good and evil, is also an illusion. I began to understand that suffering and disappointments and melancholy are there not to vex us or cheapen us or deprive us of our dignity, but to mature and transfigure us. All life is a breath exhaled by God. All dying is a breath inhaled by God. To nobody can you communicate in words and teachings what happened to you in your hour of enlightenment. The marvel of the Bhagavad Gita is its truly beautiful revelation of life's wisdom, which enables philosophy to blossom into religion. Often it is the most deserving people who cannot help loving those who destroy them. You are willing to die, you coward, but not to live. Each man had only one genuine vocation, to find the way to himself. Not in his speech, not in his thoughts I see his greatness, only in his actions and his life. When dealing with the insane, the best method is to pretend to be sane. Whether you and I and a few others will renew the world, someday remains to be seen, but within ourselves we must renew it each day. Wisdom is nothing but a preparation of the soul, a capacity, a secret art of thinking, feeling, and breathing thoughts of unity at every moment of life. There is, so I believe, in the essence of everything something that we cannot call learning. There is, my friend, only a knowledge that is everywhere. Every healthy person must have a goal in life, and that life must have content. One never reaches home, but wherever friendly paths intersect, the whole world looks like home for a time. Who travels far will often see things far removed from what was believed as truth. He saw that the water continually flowed, and yet It was always there, it was always the same, and yet every moment it was new. I felt knowledge and the unity of the world circulate in me like my own blood. Faith is stronger than so-called reason. You must find your dream, then the way becomes easy. When the suffering becomes acute enough, one goes forward. What you call passion is not spiritual force, but friction between the soul and the outside world. Love must neither beg nor demand. Love must be strong enough to find certainty within itself. It then ceases to be moved and becomes the mover. The call of death is a call of love. Death can be sweet if we answer it in the affirmative, if we accept it as one of the great eternal forms of life and transformation. What you search is not necessarily the same as what you find. When you let go of the searching, you start finding. I believe that I am not responsible for the meaningfulness or meaninglessness of life, but that I am responsible for what I do with the life I've got. If a man has nothing to eat, fasting is the most intelligent thing he can do. What for me is bliss and life and ecstasy and exaltation, the world in general seeks it most in imagination. In life it finds it absurd. Within us there is someone who knows everything, wills everything, does everything better than we ourselves. The voices of all creatures are in the voices of the river. Friendship is identification and difference. Love can be begged, bought, or received as a gift. One can find it in the street, but one cannot steal it. Fate and character are different names for the same idea. What isn't part of ourselves doesn't disturb us. Als we iemand haten, dan haten we en zien. Deel lights dead en on shelf whoest wat night en on shelf whoest wet ons night up. There are many ways in which the God can make us lonely and lead us to ourselves. Without a matron cannot love, without a mother one cannot die. I will learn from myself, be my own pupil. I will learn from myself the secret of Siddhartha. We create gods and struggle with them, and they bless us. Every path leads homeward, every step is birth, every step is death, every grave is mother. The tree does not die, it waits. We can understand one another, but each of us can only interpret himself. Wisdom is not communicable. The wisdom which a wise man tries to communicate always sounds foolish. Love of God is not always the same as love of good. Searching means shaving a goal, but finding means being free, being open, having no goal. He had very few doubts, and when the facts contradicted his views on life, he shut his eyes in disapproval. Obeying is like eating and drinking. There's nothing like it if you've been without it for too long. That life is difficult I have often bitterly realized. Examine a person closely enough and you know more about him than he does himself. The mind cannot live in nature only against nature, only as its counterpart. All I wanted was to try and realize whatever was in me. Why was that so difficult? A lack of friends is a sign that a person tells the truth too much. One can pass on knowledge, but not wisdom. One can find wisdom. One can live,